how to feel good and to feel at peace when the storm is just like raging in your life. And even if everything's normal in your life, but you're just like this leaf in the wind and everything sometimes happens, you're like going one side and then you're going the other side. And if you're someone who has had or has anxiety and who is very emotional like me, then you know how vulnerable you feel in life. Yeah, I mean, you know what it means to like feel vulnerable. It's like every time something is happening, then you just feel completely um, out of balance. You feel completely like these negative feelings. This happens to me a lot when people when I feel like for example I'm making people angry, or when I need to stand up for myself. Is that how you say it? And it's like being on an emotional roller coaster, but like yeah, like basically all the time. So the only way I've found that is really cool, and in order to remain at peace most of the time, is it's a little bit like a meditation, but that I do all day at every moment. So I remind myself all day long of just the simple fact that I exist, that I am. And so there's just it's a little bit strange to like put in words, because I don't do that a lot. It's just stuff I read about or that I experience, but I don't talk about it a lot, so I don't know how to put it in words. But basically, what feels really good is when you notice that there is the perceived, what you see, and the perceiver, like the observer. And the observer is beyond any concept. Basically, when you touch your fingers like this, it is what feels, you know? And try to just like feel it. What is feeling? So you've got the contact itself, or that's how it seems to be. You've got the contact itself of your two fingers, and then there's what feels the contact. It seems like there are two aspects to this, you know? There's the perceived and the perceiver. And for any perception that you have, that's basically what you can do. You can either focus on what you see, what you smell, what you hear, what you're touching, or you can focus on the awareness of it. And so that's what's called like uh, being aware of being aware. So you're aware of what you're seeing, because otherwise you couldn't see it, and you are aware that you are seeing something. So every perception in itself, seeing, smelling, like touching, is awareness, and you are aware of that awareness. So you are aware that you see and that you hear and blah blah blah. So what you're actually doing is you're putting your awareness, your focus, on the observer part of your experience and not on the experienced. And so if you do this more and more, you're gonna notice. So you can do that in a meditation, for example. So what you can focus on is the fact that you simply exist. You try to drop everything. You drop every desire, you drop every thought you're having, and you accept also what is. You stop resisting what is. Dropping the desire also means like dropping any resistance that you have. So you stop resisting the present moment, and if there are any thoughts, then you accept them as well. You don't need to the best of your ability, stop to think about stuff, but also accept that your mind is continue to just like throw stuff at you. And so what you focus on is on the observer, the witness of everything. And what happens when you do that is that you'll notice that if you do that enough, that your body starts relaxing, because you're stopping to try to control the situation. You're leaning back and you're just like letting it be. And it feels really good when you do that. And you can do that for every perception that you have. You don't need to close your eyes. And at any given moment of the day. And the beautiful thing is, if you do that consistently because it's something that you like, that you're interested in, you have the desire to do it, then your mind or your body will start doing it automatically. So your focus is going to shift and be more and more on the observer of what is and not like the observed. And so what's going to happen also, I noticed that with myself, is that you're going to be way more in your body and way less in your thoughts, because what you're going to try to do is to first go to what you perceive, and what you perceive is not only your thoughts, it's everything. So it's what you feel through your body, it's what you see, what you hear, and for all that you're gonna try to go back to like the consciousness of it, and it's going to bring you automatically back to your body and relax your body. This is what's quite funny, because you're gonna try to just like focus on a consciousness. But first, what you gotta do in order to do this is go back to like the perceived, to every perception. And that's something that people don't do because they're too much in their head. So what they do is they dismiss a part of what they perceive. They only focus on what's most important to survive. But they don't feel like their feet or their hands, or they don't really focus on what's happening around them, you know? So what you're going to do is it's going to happen automatically if you're trying to be aware of your own awareness, is that you're just going to be more and more and more in the present moment and aware of the perceived first, and then you're going to go to the perceiver. So I don't know if that sounds, it shouldn't sound in philosophical in any way, because it's super practical. It's a meditation, just like a technique. It basically is the essence of meditation, because you're really focusing on the background and the essence of everything that is, which is consciousness. If there wasn't consciousness of something being out there, you wouldn't be able to have this experience, because having an experience is being conscious of something. And so basically it's an action sort of that you can do all the time, whatever is happening. And even when you don't feel good, when you're stressed, or when you're in your mind and it's like you have all these emotions and all these thoughts, and you don't like your life, you have always the choice to go back to just being aware that you exist and being aware of what is happening. What is like witnessing the thoughts, what is feeling the emotions. That's what you focus on. And you're going to see that you're going to feel better, because as soon as you start to do this, you stop trying to resist the situation, to give your energy to it, and like the sea starts to settle and the waves start to like become smaller, and then you start become calm, more calm, and then you're fine. And then you're in a good place where you can start to use the law of attraction, because then you don't no longer feel completely pushed in all directions by your life, because then you're like just like this you're like water, like Bruce Lee says, you're the water that's just like how do you say that, you're like the water that takes up the form of the cup, and that doesn't complain, it just does it. And you're gonna be like this with life if you do this exercise. And then it feels really empowering, and you can start, you feel you're gonna feel at peace most of the time. And then you're gonna be able to finally focus on what you want, because if you're always triggered, it's hard to start to try to be positive and feel the emotions that you want in order to attract or create the life you want. First, you gotta be okay and like an acceptance of everything that is, at least, a little bit. And then you're gonna go to the positive emotions. So that's how you can start to feel good. Remember that you can always go back to that place, which is only like consciousness of what is. And it feels great. It feels really good. Thanks for listening.